Assistant to prominent inquiry agent. Typing and shorthand required. Some danger involved in performance of duties. Salary commensurate with ability. 7 Craig's Court. So ran the advertisement in the Situations Vacant column of the Times for the 4th day straight. On the first day, a Monday, I had arrived early, but not early enough. A long queue of hopeful clerks was already spilling out into Whitehall Street. So many applicants were ahead of me, and so eminently more suitable did some of them appear, that after a quarter-hour's turn I abandoned my place and went in search of more realistic prospects. The Tuesday advertisement was, I assumed, mere thoroughness on the part of the employer. At £1 a line he could afford to advertise for 2 days, though the position might be filled on the first. On Wednesday I was intrigued, but my attention was drawn to a situation in Hammersmith for which I believed I might be better suited, one that didn't offer some danger involved in performance of duties. But when the request appeared the 4th day, I exclaimed over the newspaper in the reading room of the British Museum and vowed to try my luck again. Like young Arthur standing before the sword in the stone, I assumed I couldn't fail worse than anyone else. I set down my pasteboard suitcase on the pavement at the end of the queue and looked at the line of applicants. They seemed identical to the gentlemen from the first day. I am sure that many of them were better qualified than I, but none was as desperate. The cheap suitcase at my feet contained all that I owned in the world, all that was left that could not be pawned. That morning I had abandoned the garret I occupied, several days in arrears of my rent, with but 3d to my name, which I squandered on a tin cup full of chalky coffee and one of the thick slices of bread and butter they call doorsteps, at a stall in Covent Garden. This was to be my final day of hunting for a situation. If I was not gainfully employed by 7 o'clock that evening, I planned to take one last look from atop Waterloo Bridge at the premier city in Christendom, then snuff this guttering candle with a long jump into the Thames. Truth be told, I almost wished for the release, for my shattered faith still clung to the belief that I might be reunited with my wife, dead now almost a year. It was a trade I would only too gladly make. Although I did stand in line, pushing my suitcase forward every minute or two, my hopes were not sanguine. There is a look which comes into a prospective employer's eye when he glances through your references and comes across the words, Oxford Prison. It's not a happy look, but an interesting one. First the eyes pop open with astonishment. Then the brows knit together in a solid scowl. Finally one brow raises sardonically, as if wondering how you would have the brass to go on breathing after such a disaster. There may be further ocular calisthenics, but I was usually out the door by that time, one step ahead of the boot.